I'm Michelle.
And I'm Greg.
And we're the Culinary Sherpas, your guides to good food.
Today we're at Council Oak Steaks and Seafood in Tampa, Florida.
This place is legendary for their dried steaks.
And it just happens to be inside the Seminole Hard Rock Casino.
Ooh, shiny.
Come on, let's go.
The artistry that goes into a good steak can make or break a restaurant. Steaks are one of the most popular menu items all over, and there's really no room for error.
And we happen to have an expert, shall we say a rock star of steaks, here with us. We've got Matt Sadowski, chef de cuisine here at Council Oak.
How you doing today?
Hi, Matt.
Good, how you doing?
Good, nice to see you. All of our cuts are USDA prime. That's all we use. We age it in our on-site butcher shop for a minimum of 21 days.
Dry age?
Dry age. Like back in the day you saw in the old butcher shop pictures where they had the meat hanging. Essentially breaking down, but it tenderizes it. All you have is a natural beef flavor. One of our signature dishes is our cowboy ribeye. We leave the long bone on it. We actually personalize it for people. So people come in, we'll ask what their names are, their initials, whatever, and we carve it in it, burn it into the end of it just to personalize it, a little added touch.
Have you ever had any Will You Marry Me's?
Yeah, I had a Will You Marry Me. We've had some football players come in and want their numbers on it or their nicknames on it, all kinds of different things. We actually do our steaks in 3 stages. We actually sear them, and we do them on our main hot grill, and then we do them on our finishing grill, and we let them slow down, we let them rest. So I'm searing it on one side, and then the way I was saying how we highlight our initials, we just carve them in the end.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then we highlight it with a torch. And then after we sear it shut, we basically sear it shut so that if you watch when it cooks, a lot of steakhouses or you see people on the grill if you cook at home and you get all that flare up from the grease.
Yeah.
When you sear it closed like that, you don't have as much. So all that fat and flavor stays inside of it, and that's where you just get that nice juicy steak from. So basically what we do is we start it off on a hot grill and cook it about 2/3 of the way. And then we throw it on the slow grill and we let it sit and we let it rest and come up to temp. So what I did over here is I did one a little bit earlier for you.
Oh,
I'll show you.
man.
So this one's been resting. It's all nice and tender and ready to go. We just throw it on the plate. Add a nice little garnish to it. Give it a little color on the plate. And there you go. So what do you think?
Oh, this is awesome. I'm pan searing it before putting it on the grill. It really captured every bit of flavor the steak had to offer. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much
Thanks for
for
coming
your
in.
time.
Thanks for having us.
Council Oak does a mean steak.
Yeah, they do. But for those of you not lucky enough to have a world-class steakhouse right in your backyard, or maybe you're just a little tight on funds, Greg has promised to show us his tried and true method.
Steak my way.
I gotta see this. I know that you've got a little trick up your sleeve for doing a steak that is typically considered like a low cut and making it taste really good, but you don't involve any grilling.
We're actually going to take this piece of steak and we're going to sous vide it.
And isn't it mostly boiling stuff in a bag?
It's not really boiling.
Oh, okay.
What we're going to do is hold it at a temperature where the steak will be perfectly rare.
Okay, so you bring the water temperature up to the temperature that the inner part of the steak should be held at. So for you and I, we like our steaks bloody.
Yes.
So what temperature should that be?
About 125 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, so you bring the water up to 125 degrees, and then you throw the beef in there in a bag. How do you keep it at that temperature?
If it gets to be too cold, you increase the heat a little bit. If it gets to be too hot, you throw a couple of ice cubes in to cool it down.
And this is supposed to make it taste better than grilling?
It won't have the same charred flavor as grilling, but will get that nice crisp crust on the outside.
So you finish it off in a pan?
Yes.
To get that crispiness that we like.
Yes.
All right, let's go for it.
Yeah, let's do the Bailout beef steak. We're not buying filet mignon, we're not buying ribeye, we're not buying New York strip. What we've got is a big piece of top sirloin. This is going to be sous vide in its most simplistic form. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about this and get very intricate about it. We're just going to do it nice and easy.
Okay.
You can take this big chunk of sirloin, which I've broken into parts already.
That kind of looks like a little bit of a New York strip, and that kind of looks like a filet.
We're going to coat it well with salt. And of course, we want some pepper.
I actually put a huge amount of pepper on my steaks. I do, salt, appropriate amount of salt, an appropriate amount of pepper. Actually, I put a lot of pepper on it. And I use garlic powder, which I know you're like,
Garlic powder, bad. I'm going to turn it over, season the other side.
I love this part, the big fatty, heart clogging.
Well, that one's got your name on it.
All right.
Now, sous vide
Yes, sous vide.
really means under vacuum. Now, not everybody has a vacuum sealer. Since not everybody has one, we're going to try to show how we would do this at home. And take our steak and put it in the bag. Why don't we go ahead and squeeze every bit of air out of there?
Oh, you know I will too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we've got a thermometer sticking out of water, and it says 125 degrees.
So we're gonna put our steaks in, make sure that they get completely submerged. Make sure everything's zipped up nice and tight.
All right.
And we'll see that in about half an hour.
I've read that with sous vide, you can literally leave this steak in this pot of boiling water as long as it stays at 125 degrees for like 8 hours, and it will never overcook and it will never undercook.
Exactly, because it'll always be 125 degrees. To overcook it, it would have to be more than 125 degrees.
That is so cool. Okay, all
So,
right.
in a nutshell, in its most basic form, we have just done sous vide.